She called me at 2:17 a.m., not drunk, not crying. Just that strange quiet that follows after something's broken and no one's willing to name it. Her voice came through soft, hesitant, almost fragile. "Hey," she said, like nothing had shattered between us. Like I hadn't erased her name from the pages of my future 4 weeks ago without so much as a word. Like I hadn't watched the light go out in her eyes the last time she looked at me. She didn't know I'd seen it. She always believed I was a step behind her lies, that I mistook her silences for serenity, her distance for peace. I let the silence stretch between us, let it breathe. She filled it nervously, unsure of her footing. I've been thinking about us. I stared at the faint glow of the phone, thumb hovering over the mute button. Outside, the rain whispered steadily against the glass, like static echoing in my blood. That sound had become oddly comforting, more honest than anything she'd said in months. "I know you canceled the wedding," she whispered, like she'd just begun to feel the weight of that act, as if realization had arrived late. Slow and clumsy. "But can we talk?" What she didn't know, what she'd never know unless I let her, is that I'd known everything. About the trip, about him, about the way she'd carefully constructed her betrayal, in poetic little lies. I knew more than she thought I ever could, but I said nothing. She mistook my silence for softness, for mercy. It started 3 months before the wedding. She said she needed space, not for me. She was careful to clarify, for herself. Her therapist's idea, she claimed, a solo vacation, one final moment to clear her head before we stepped into forever. I agreed, of course I did. I always agreed when her eyes softened and her voice lowered, when she said things that sounded like truth. But the night before she left, I saw the message. It flashed across her screen, quick, almost innocent if you weren't looking close. "Can't wait to see you again. I've missed you." No name, just initials. "C." I didn't ask. I didn't flinch. Suspicion doesn't scream. It settles quiet and constant, like dust. She smiled at me as she left for the airport, and I memorized the way her fingers tighten around her bag strap. Guilt lives in the body before it ever touches the voice. 2 days later, she posted a photo. Ocean view, wine glass, a sunset that looked like it was borrowed from a travel magazine. There was a second glass just barely in frame beside hers. The caption read, "Solo Serenity." It was a beautiful lie, elegant, almost artful. I nearly admired it. I didn't confront her. I took my time instead, studied the photo, traced the tag location to a luxury resort in Santorini. A few calls, a favor from a discreet friend in hospitality. I found his name. Connor, the ex-boyfriend. The one who left her 4 years ago when she wasn't ready to be loved. Seems now she was. I paid a service to pull his travel records. He flew out 2 days before she did. Left 1 day after. Booked under the same room. I had the receipts. All of it plain and unsentimental. She came back glowing. Sun-kissed skin, freckles dusting her nose, a lighter shade in her hair. Her laugh was too bright, too practiced. The way she kissed me felt like someone trying to erase their fingerprints from a crime scene. I let her tell me stories warped and folded like origami. I smiled. I nodded. I picked up her dress from the tailor and pretended the world hadn't fallen apart. But inside, I was sharpening the silence like a blade. Then I found the voicemail. A 2-second accidental recording. His voice soft, amused. Still think he suspects anything? Click. 2 weeks before the wedding, I left the envelope on the kitchen counter. Photos. Receipts. The voicemail transcribed. No note. No flourish. Just a truth, laid bare, clinical and undeniable. She came home from work humming. She didn't hum after she opened it. I watched her from the hallway mirror. I saw her knees fold, not like in a movie, not with drama or shrieking, just a quiet collapse, like something inside her had finally given out. She didn't cry. She didn't plead. She whispered one word. No, not "I'm sorry," not "I can explain." Just no. Like the truth itself had betrayed her. I stepped into the room, picked up my keys. Her eyes found mine, wide, searching. I asked one word. "Why?" Her lips parted, then closed again. No answer. The silence held. I nodded once, then walked out. The wedding venue was canceled 3 days later. I let her family find out on their own. Her mother called. Her sister texted. I ignored both. They weren't the ones who chose illusion over commitment. She showed up at my apartment once. I didn't open the door. Later, she sent an email, long, meandering, filled with confessions and contradictions. Something about fear, about believing she was protecting us by ruining us, about how she thought she was doing the right thing in some backwards, twisted way. I replied with 2 sentences. You made your choice. I made mine. Then I blocked her. There was no shouting, no spectacle, no throwing things or setting fires. She had already done all that on her own. What I left behind wasn't a scene. It was a crater. Quiet. Permanent. Now. For weeks later, her voice trembled over the phone like someone reaching into the dark, hoping the person they destroyed still remember how to hold them. Maybe she thought the silence had softened. Maybe she believed it meant I'd forgotten. But I hadn't. I had simply healed in a way she never taught herself to. I'm sorry, she said, and I believed her. But apologies don't rebuild trust. They're just headstones planted in the ruins. I miss you, she said softly, like she thought the words might pull me back. I let them hang, let them wilt and wither in the space between us. Then I said low and even, I don't, and hung up. No rage, just precision. She gave her body to the past. I gave her future back to it. And that was mercy.